All right, guys, are you ready? Here we go. This is what I see in the One Piece mural. Before I break it down, I want to give us a base to stand on, starting with what Ripley told Frankie. She stated that the mural, made up of drawings, was created by children from Elbaf during ancient times. These children carved the mural into the Atom Tree, also known as Yggdrasil, on Elbaf. Since we know Elbaf is based on Norse mythology, it made me question how these children would be even able or be even capable of telling the future. I mean, they are just children. To give further proof of what I'm about to say, I like to bring up a child who is capable of telling the future from another race already. That person would be Madame Charlie from Fishman Island. She was 3 years old when she found out she could use her abilities to tell the future with a crystal ball. She predicted at the age of 3 that Poseidon would be born within the Mermaid Princess and would be born in 10 years. At the age of 4, she predicted the great age of pirates. She also predicted Whitebeard's death. This proves that some children can indeed see the fates of the world. What makes the children of Elbaf who drew this mural make them any different? It doesn't. If anything, they had better fortune telling. Let me explain. In Norse mythology, there is a people known as Norns. Even though there are many of them, the most recognizable are known as the 3 giantesses who shaped the fates of mankind. Their names are Udur, Verdandi, and Skuld, with each representing a different perception of time. Udur translates to happened. Verdandi means happening, and Skuld means what ought to happen. It means past, present, and future from another perspective. As you can see, the children drew 3 worlds representing all 3 on the Atom Tree. What's poetic about this is that the Norns lived below the roots of Yggdrasil and would carve men's fates. Coincidence? There's no such thing as coincidences with Oda. These children were 3 girls who could each predict time. One could tell the past, one could tell the present, and one could tell the future. But it wasn't like Madame Charlie's predictions. I believe these 3 girls could also tell time through something called Eternalism while combining their abilities. Eternalism is a philosophical concept that explains all moments in time, including past, present, and future, exist equally and concurrently, like a fixed block of time where every point equally is real. Rather than time flowing linearly as we perceive it, in essence, everything exists in a 4-dimensional space-time continuum, and our perception of time passing is merely an illusion. The reason I think this is because of Yggdrasil being in the middle of the 3 worlds within the mural. It's stated that Yggdrasil, in Norse mythology, is upon which all things live lay at the center of everything, hence why the Atom Tree is in the middle of the mural. Yggdrasil is supposed to touch all worlds simultaneously. I believe each world, past, present, and future, are happening all at once in the mural. For example, we see in the first world that there is a technologically advanced society, but there isn't any in the second world being shown. That doesn't make sense because we were told that Vegapunk's scientific achievements are said to be at least 500 years ahead of current technology, and he theorizes that the ancient kingdom's technology was even more advanced than his. If advanced technology exists in the first world, why isn't the technology of the ancient kingdom depicted in the second world? And why isn't Vegapunk's technology shown in the third world? I think the Elbaf children are saying there were/are technologically advanced civilizations in each world, but it's being depicted only in the first world to mean it's through all worlds, hence Eternalism. Now that we understand that 3 giant female children could tell time via past, present, future, and through Eternalism, I want to focus on the details of it all, starting with the first world. It says, within the earth there was fire. Mankind succumbed to greed and touched the forbidden sun. The enslaved prayed and the sun god appeared. I believe, like most of you, that the mother flame is this forbidden sun mankind had touched during the first world. When Vegapunk told the root of his first sin, he said he dreamt of a source of endless eternal energy, and in his desire to push the world forward into the future, he flew too close to the sun. Then we see a picture of the mother flame flame. Within our mural, we see flames at the bottom of it, and it exists through all three worlds. The third world has this evil figure holding the mother flame in the palm of its hand, showing this has always been the root of problems in each period. The question is, if you believe the mother flame originates from the planet itself, who harnessed it? In my opinion, I believe it was the Lunarians who created the first mother flame. In Enel's cover story, he goes to Fairy Verth, otherwise known as the Moon. Once he lands, he runs into space pirates. After defeating the space pirates, he sort of befriends an automata who follows him around. During his onslaught, Enel notices a tunnel within the moon. He ventures in and sees that there's an underground city, and this moon city is called Burka. Enel discovers many more automata that are different from the ones he has following him, and he comes across some murals himself. These murals suggest that angel people constructed these automata utilizing a specific type of energy source. On the mural, we see Shandorians, Skypians, and Birkins. They created the automata for something and left them on the moon because they needed to go to the blue planet because they lacked resources. In the second mural, there appears to be a depiction of the mother flame in use, but we never see Lunarians with these two murals. The city of Burka is named after its inhabitants, the Birkins, to whom Enel is related to by heritage. There's a lot to unpack. If the Birkins were the angel people in charge, why were they creating automata? How did they get the mother flame? And why weren't the Lunarians in the murals? The angel people, particularly the Lunarians, were sent to the Blue Sea to search for resources. When Lunarians set their feet on the ground, due to their ability to withstand any type of environment and the ability to manipulate flames, they found the essence of energy within the earth and created the first mother flame. Given their duty to further its development, they dispatched some mother flames back to their Burka moon city and remained in the Blue Sea. Once the Lunarians came into contact with humans and sought to share their technology, the humans started to enslave themselves to develop a more technologically advanced society, which we see in the mural that three worlds are on. The humans decided one day that they didn't want to share the essence of the mother flame and decided to wage war on the angel people. Hence, why men succumb to their greed when they touch the sun. In the mural, the moon is present with mother flames around it. This indicates that Lunarians sharing the mother flame back to the Burka moon city, as well as the murals Enel was reading highlighting the ancient angel people using the flame to power their automata to go to war with the humans during the First World. In this era of widespread slavery, many individuals sought freedom, leading to a significant movement for emancipation. They conjured up the idea of someone named Nika. They imagined what he would be for them, and through that belief, spawned the first devil fruit unknowingly. That devil fruit was the Hito Hito no Mi model, Nika. Vegapunk theorized that devil fruits are the manifestation of human desires that defies the sea's natural order. Each fruit represents a different branch of probable future human abilities. So to me, Nika was actually an idea. He never existed. He was conceived in imagination, sought and praised to. To me, there was the first devil fruit user of the Nika ability during the First World, Joy Boy of the Second World, and now Luffy during the Third World. Because the people needed a savior, the sun god appeared. To move on to the next quote, it says, "The earth god raged, and with its serpent of hellfire shrouded the world in death and darkness, and they will never meet." As we all know, when there's a yin, there's also a yang. You can't have one without the other. People who oppose the sun god manifested through their desires for someone who could oppose this savior of slaves. Hence, the birth of the earth god, who became the First World's villain. The earth god used his serpent of hellfire to conquer the world afterward. We first saw someone do this within the Monsters manga created by Oda. When Mustachio summoned a dragon, he used it to murder people, to create fear throughout the areas that he was in. This isn't the first time Oda's used this idea, but I believe that to preserve the world for someone who would take on the Nika fruit next to accomplish what the first Nika user couldn't, the first Nika user created the red line to separate the Earth God's reach, also to slow the spread of the mother flame amongst the world. This is why it was said the Earth God and the first Nika user, who was the Sun God, will never meet. The first Nika user stayed on one side of the red line, and the Earth God stayed on the other. Because the first Nika user and the angel people lost the war, the Lunarians decided to climb atop the red line as border patrol and vowed to never make mother flames again. That was the end of the first world. Y'all messing with it so far?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's so detailed. I love the Norns, they're called, the three girls.
Yeah.
I love that element of it. I haven't heard anybody say that. I heard some of these other elements from other people online and YouTube and stuff, but I love that part of it. The four-dimensional time-space visibility that these three girls may have had at this time. You even texted me, like, there's a part of this theory that nobody's talking about, or the mural, like the people who create it. Nobody's using that. Nobody's really speaking on that. So I love that part of it.
Lauren spoke on it a little bit.
Yeah.
Let me continue on. I'm almost done. Let us move on to the second world. This world is the ancient kingdom and where the alliance formed to create the world government. It says, within the void, there was breath. The forest god tamed demons, and the sun god spread the fires of war. During this time, people of the world sought a different freedom. Not one Nika could give them because he failed. They weren't slaves, but they were being oppressed by the earth god and its serpent of hellfire. People no longer wanted death and darkness, so a new hero arrived, but in a darker form, the form of revenge. This is the forest god. The forest god and the earth god battled for supremacy, which is why you see them blowing flames at each other. The reason I think this happened is because the earth god, forest god, and sea god all share the same evil traits of round teeth, dark-figured bodies, and evil intent, but the earth god and the forest god are attacking each other. So you can say that the forest god was an anti-hero who tamed the earth god's demons. But during this battle, people all over started to receive their own pieces of the mother flame to fight back against these evil figures, hence why the sun spread the fires of war. At some point, the Nika fruit was received and revived through Joy Boy. The ancient kingdom, out of all the kingdoms, was the first to become a technologically advanced civilization that surpassed the first world's technologically advanced civilization, and it was due to one reason. That reason was because someone from the ancient kingdom had the No Me, No Me, No Me devil fruit. The same one Vegapunk has. The reason I say this is because if you look at Enel's cover story, there's a huge time jump from when the automata are being built by Professor Tsukimi to when they are revived by Enel. Look closely. The island that Professor Tsukimi is on is Karakuri Island. This island is the hometown of Vegapunk. But here's the catch. Karakuri Island is considered a winter island. Vegapunk had to create a geothermal device to heat the island, but never finished it. But in Enel's cover story, Karakuri Island isn't a winter island. For that to happen, it would take hundreds of years for climate change to happen. When the first automata made by Professor Tsukimi hundreds of years ago went to the moon, they ran into space pirates. On the hat of the space pirates is a Jolly Roger head shaped like Vegapunk's. But the thing is, Vegapunk is only 65 years old. So it would have been impossible for him to be alive hundreds of years ago. Hence, this is proof that there was someone during the Second World who had Vegapunk's devil fruit and used its scientific genius to push their kingdom to the point of dominance. This is where it gets interesting. Remember how I told you that the angel people were on the moon and lost the First World War? Well, they happen to now be in touch with the Second World's Vegapunk-like figure from the Ancient Kingdom. The Ancient Kingdom likely sought weapons to fight other nations and ultimately defeat the Forest God and Earth God. The Ancient Kingdom's Vegapunk handed out Mother Flames to Water 7, to build Pluton. Burka Moon City used their mother flames to develop Uranus, and Joy Boy discovered Poseidon on his travels to Fishman Island. Remember how I told you that Enel was a Birkin? Guess who else is a Birkin? The scientists on Weatheria. They built an entire island off of something called weather balls. They were experts in weather, and when they needed resources, they'd come down to the blue planet, just like the ancient angel people did in the murals I mentioned earlier. Enel, from our knowledge, has never been to Weatheria, but he was able to create the Ark Maxim, a ship that's able to fly. Also, does he somehow just have a weather ability? Coincidence? Remember, Oda doesn't do coincidences, bro. Enel's Ark Maxim is inherently in the blood of all Birkins, since they are masters of weather, and the ship of the look-alike Ark Maxim that we see in the mural is none other than Uranus. And this is where it gets crazy. The ancient kingdom thought they would finally be free of the tyranny brought upon by the earth god, the serpent of hellfire, and the forest god. But then something happened. A mistake, maybe. I think Uranus was used against the will of Joy Boy and his allies. All of these nations who were against the forest god and earth god now knew the real enemy was the ancient kingdom. Why? When Uranus was used, it raised the sea levels by 200 feet. That weapon was used on Enislavi, thus sinking other islands. Other nations ended up being destroyed from this mistake. It drove all nations to rally together against the ancient kingdom, hence why the Noah was built. Joy Boy said he failed, and Nefertari Lily had to create indestructible artifacts to tell the true history and why the Mother Flame disappeared. It was during the Void Century that everything came to pass. So what did Joy Boy do? Just like the first world Nika Fruit user, he entrusted his next user to finish the job. He split the sea again, but this time he used Poseidon to create calm belts to further protect everyone from the world government and to protect the people from the ancient weapons for misuse. It would also explain how the celestial dragons are called celestial dragons because of the serpent of hellfire. The next quote is this: "Those of half moon dreamed, those of the moon dreamed. Man killed the sun and became God, and the sea god stormed, and they will never meet." The people who knew the truth were the D-Clan members, who are also called the Half-Moon people. The Moon people are the angel people who dreamed. After a man killed Joy Boy, they ruled the earth by becoming the largest and strongest nation in the world. The sea god came from evil desires and reigned over the earth god and forest god. He tamed them both. But throughout all of this is why the sun god and the other gods will never meet. And now we have our third world, our world. This is where everyone and their mom comes together after learning the Void Century and what the One Piece is to finally defeat the gods who have plagued the world for hundreds and maybe thousands of years. Luffy will finally succeed where his predecessors couldn't. Thus, why they will surely meet.
Listen, that was a lot, but I thought it was great. I thought it was great.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of any real pushback that I have, and I couldn't think of anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, you was talking for a while, bro. Take a sip.
Yeah.
That was a lot.
Hey, man, listen.
It's a lot to dissect. Yeah.
I like the element of the mistakes being made and the Earth God versus the serpent versus the Earth God, like the Forest God. I like that part of it. It's so much. I can't wait for you to chop it up so I can like replay the listen because there was so much to hear live just now. Normally I would take notes, but I haven't been taking notes. So, y'all got anything specifically for Larry? Any comments? I really love the opening. Honestly, that was like my favorite part.
Yeah.
Because I was thinking back of what the sea god. I was trying to figure out that only because I'm curious. I don't know how to, because this is after the sun god like was taken out. The sea god stormed. So I couldn't tell if it was an ally or like did it get mad that it got taken out or did it like stormed because it like in a way it won. And then I also thought of like, for example, for some reason I linked it towards abilities and how Vegabug linked Mother Nature and the sea against the abilities, like a natural thing. So I was thinking of that kind of spawned abilities. And then the sea god's retaliation was, all right, stormed against the abilities wise, is what I meant.
I don't think I'm right on a couple things because it took a lot of guessing and a lot of backwood. Yeah. But you know what's crazy? When I saw the mural and then I saw the stairs and it was being powered by the Mother Flame, if you go back to when we first met Lilith and Usopp and crew was on the escalator, Frankie was like, yo, what powers this? And then Lilith was like, it's a flame. It's an ancient energy source that we're using to power this. And it's funny that that's being powered inside of the mural. So overall, I just think that the theory itself kind of close. to what the story is.
No, it's very interesting because even when you were talking about the part that Sebastian likes about the thing, I believe that the voice of all things has a connection to what them carving on it as well.
Yeah.
I think the voice of things plays a big role into it.
Another element that I really enjoyed was the thought process of Nika being created via the hopes and wishes of people, like spawning this person, essentially, or spawning this being, entity in the minds of the people. And the opposite, like you said, like we used to always talk about in your other theories, like the Joy Boy of the Dawn and the Joy Boy of the Dusk. So it's like, this would be that in this version as well. Like, why is there just a Nika? There should be somebody that's the polar opposite of that could be dreamed up, imagined, wished for, hoped for as the opposing party. I never even thought of it like that. When you said the Joy Boy of the Dawn and the Dusk, I used to think of it a little bit, but like, I never went that far with Nika either. You know what I'm saying? Like, why wouldn't there be? Why wouldn't there be a polar opposite? Maybe that's just Emu, maybe it's somebody else even before Emu. You know what I mean? So, hey man, you good?